Hello everyone. Today in this video I'll teach you how to write a report and its basics. We will first learn what is a report writing, its purpose, forms and salient features. Then we will look into the format and then we'll go through the examples covering both events and accidents. Let's get started. What is a report? It is a spoken or written description or account of an event, an incident, or a process meant to be published or broadcast. Students, reporting can include almost everything under the sun, such as news, events, incidents, accidents, experience, experiments, seminars, exhibitions, camps, surveys, inquiries, celebrations, inaugurations, business activities, etc. Thus, we have various forms of reports. Newspaper reports, school magazine reports, inquiry reports, progress or action taken reports, police reports, reports for journals, reports of meetings, seminars, camps, inaugurations, etc. Students, you are required to write newspaper reports and school magazine reports. It's there in your syllabus. So today we shall learn to write reports for newspapers and school magazines. What is the purpose of a report? To provide certain important information regarding an event, incident or a process to a particular group or public. And now students, we will discuss the salient features of a report. The first point is first-hand information is to be provided. Anything you see or hear yourself is a first-hand information. When you get information from someone who saw something happen or heard something said, that's a first-hand information. The second point is it should be written in the past tense. Why? Because we are reporting about an event or incident that has already taken place. So, it should be written in the past tense. Do not use present tense or future tense. Only in the last line or lines, which is a concluding remark, you can use present tense. The next point is avoid the use of first and second person. Use third person. I will tell you why we should avoid the use of first and second person. Students, first and second person is not appropriate in academic or scientific writing. We write in first person to personalize the text, and second person is usually used in the context of providing instructions or advice. When you want to persuade the reader, it is best to avoid personal pronouns. We write in third person because the writer plays the role of a narrator. And writing in third person provides flexibility and objectivity. Students, the next point is write in indirect speech or passive voice to make your report more impressive. And then the next is presentation and organization of details should be systematic and logical. Students, we have to provide the details and the facts systematically. What happened first? Then what happened? Then what happened? Stepwise you have to give the details. And the next is a report should not be fictitious and should be bias-free. Now, what is the meaning of fictitious? It means unreal, imaginary, fabricated. So, students, the report should not be unreal. or it should not be imaginary. It should be real. Bias free means free from prejudice. The next point is, depending upon its nature, a report can be in a single paragraph, 2 to 3 paragraphs, or a single page write-up. Students, you can write the report in 1 paragraph, 2 to 3 paragraphs, or you can write in a single page. And please do not enclose the report. And the last point is, end with follow-up action, an appeal, a warning, a recommendation as is appropriate. So according to the content, you have to end the report. Students, now we shall discuss the format for newspaper and school magazines. First of all, we'll discuss the format for a newspaper. Okay, I'll write here newspaper. We will write the heading or the title in the center, and it should be written in capital letters. It should be short and catchy to grab the attention of the readers, and you can write it in 3 to 8 words. I'll write here. It should be written in the center in capital letters. It should be short and catchy. You can write in 3 to 8 words. And then next is the byline. In the byline, you have to write the name of the reporter or an eyewitness. Okay, I'll write here. You have to write the name of the reporter or an eyewitness. Students, whatever name is given in the question, you have to write that name, and if the name is not given, you can write any name. I'll write on the board and tell you how you can write. Suppose in the question it's given Ramesh. You'll write the name first, Ramesh, and then you'll put colon. Students, please do not put this division sign or an arrow. After that, you can write here an eyewitness, staff, correspondent. You can write the name of the newspaper, Times of India. You can write reporter, Hindustan Times. So students, please do not put division mark or an arrow, and write it properly. After the byline, leave a line and you have to write place and date. That is from the left alignment you have to write. First you have to write the name of the place and then you have to write the date. Okay? Suppose an event, incident or anything occurred, I'll write the name of the place like in Chandigarh. Put colon, then write the date, 25th. Okay, we'll write September 2020. Then you can start the content from the next line. And student, what you have to write in content? You have to write or remember the formula that I told you in one of my videos on notice writing, that is 5 W's. Okay, 5 W's plus I will add one more word here. How? To complete your content, Do not forget this formula. Okay? What, where, when, who, why, and how. So, students, you have to write what happened, where it happened, when it happened, why it happened. You have to give the cause or the reason, who was involved or who was the organizer according to the incident or the event. You have to write this. Okay, then how, if it is an accident, how the situation was tackled, if it is an event, how it started and ended. So you can write the 5 W's. But before writing the 5 W's, okay, that is before writing your content, you have to keep in mind a formula, and that is order. C-O-D-E-R. Order. I told you about this formula in one of my videos on article writing. We'll revise this. C stands for collecting the facts. Okay, you have to collect the facts or details. And then organizing them. Organize them in a systematic way. And then draft them. Okay, drafting. After that, editing. Keep the necessary things, discard the unnecessary things. Edit. And then you have to revise. So students, if you have this formula in your mind, then it will become very easy, and within no time you can write the report. So the main thing is that you have to remember 5 W's plus how, and before writing the content you have to remember this idea. And then you can summarize the end with a positive note or with a warning, with a recommendation, with an appeal, as is appropriate. And students, now I will tell you the format for school magazines. For school magazines, heading you have to write in the center. Then byline you have to write. In the byline you can write a report by Ashu. Then you can write the head boy. Designation you can write the head boy, the president of cultural society, literary society, the prefect. And students, leave a line and start writing your report. You don't have to mention place and date separately. Date and place, they will be included here in the content. So please remember that avoid writing place and date separately when you are writing for school magazine. Include these two in your content. Students, now I'll tell you the value points for accident and calamities. Value points for accidents and calamities. First of all, we will write what happened. Okay, what happened, and then we will write where, when, and how it happened. Where, when, and how it happened. After this, the next point is that we have to write about the people and the vehicles involved. People and the vehicles involved. If it is a road accident, and if it is a fire accident or a natural calamity, then we can write loss of life and property. Loss of life and property. And then after this we can write the chaotic scene, the scene of the accident, how people or victims reacted or suffered. So we will write chaotic scene. Okay, how people or the victims suffered, reacted, and then we have to write the details of the casualties. Details of the casualties. In this we can mention how many died, injured, killed, hospitalized, dead, killed, injured, hospitalized, those who were dead, they were taken to the mortuary. We can write that. And students, after writing the chaotic scene, you can write the details about the rescue or the relief operation. Okay? Relief operation. In this you can write how many came forward to help, how they helped, and then you have to write about the grants to the families of the deceased. Grants given to the families of the deceased. And then students, you can write reference to the orders of inquiry by the government. Okay, reference to the orders of inquiry by the government. And then you can end with a warning, a comment on the negligence of the guilty, okay, or any recommendation, what needs to be done, that you can end. Then you will write here concluding remarks. Already I have told you what to write, a warning, recommendation, an appeal, that you can write here in the concluding remarks. Students, if you remember all these value points, within no time you can write the report for newspapers, and that also for accidents or calamities. Students, now I'll tell you the value points for events and functions. I'll write on the board. Value points for events and functions. Okay, first of all we will write what was the event or the function. What was the event or the function. And then we will write where and when it took place. Where and when. And then the next point is who. We will write who. Who organized it? Okay, we can also write who attended. Attended. And then we will write the welcome of the chief guest or the guest speaker. Welcome of the chief guest or the guest speaker. Students, we can also write about the preparations. Okay, here we can add preparations. What preparations were made, how they were made. And then we can write about the guest speaker's message or speech or the chief guest's speech. Guest speaker's message or speech. Okay, in place of guest speaker, we can write chief guest. And after that, we have to write the details of the events. Details of the events. And if there is a cultural program, we can mention about that. Cultural program, if any. Then prize distribution we can mention. Prize distribution, if any. Then we can write about vote of thanks. Vote of thanks. And then we can end with a comment on quality of the program. End with a comment on a quality of the program. So students, if you keep all these value points in your mind, you will be able to write your report within no time. Students, now we'll solve a question on an accident. Here is the question. As you were traveling by train, you happened to witness an accident at an unmanned level crossing. As the reporter of a newspaper, write a report on the accident, including details of the number of people died and injured. So students, first of all, we have to write the title in the center. Here is the title, Accident at an Unmanned Level Crossing. Unmanned here means that there is no gateman to regulate the traffic. Users cross the railway line at their own risk. And level crossing, it is a place where a railway line and a road meet each other on the same level. This means that the road and the track are not separated by using a bridge or a tunnel. Students, level crossing, it is also known as a grade crossing, a railway crossing, or a railroad crossing. Okay, after writing the title, in the byline I have written the name of the reporter. In the newspaper it is given reporter, so I have written the name, and the name is not mentioned. So students, when the name is not there, you can mention the name at your own will. I have written Avinash, staff correspondent, Hindustan Times. After writing this, we have to leave a line, and then from the left hand alignment, we have to write the place and the date. The place is not mentioned in the question, so I have written place also at my own will. Now we will write the report. I told you that we can write the report in a single page, in one paragraph, or in 2 to 3 paragraphs. Here I have written 2 paragraphs. Okay, now we will read the report. A nerve-wracking accident occurred at an unmanned level crossing near Delhi yesterday evening at 6 p.m. Students, I told you the value points that we have to write what happened, where it happened, when did it happen. So we have covered all the 3. A tractor trolley carrying 4 people was crossing the railway track when the train Frontier Mail hit the tractor. So I told you that after that we have to write people or the vehicles involved. So here the vehicles involved are a tractor, trolley and the Frontier Mail. These are the vehicles that are involved. The collision was so hard that the tractor overturned immediately and all the 4 people were killed at the spot. The 2 bogies S3 and S4 were also derailed. Around 20 passengers died and nearly 2 dozen received injuries. Students, now I told you that we have to mention the chaotic scene, or we have to give the details of the accident. So, I have written here, one could hear the shrieks of the passengers. The limbs of the dead lay scattered here and there. The mud was soaked with blood. The local people gathered there and helped the trapped people. The co-passengers from the other bogies helped the injured passengers of the affected bogies to move out of the bogies safely. The rescue team arrived. The locals and the rescue team rushed the injured to the nearby hospitals. So students, I have covered the details of the casualties. How many died, how many were injured, and then the injured, they were taken to the hospital. And I have also covered the value point that about relief operation. Who all came forward to help. The locals, they came forward, the co-passengers and the rescue team. And now we'll move on to the next paragraph. The railway department has set up an inquiry to probe the matter. Okay, students, in my value point I told you that we have to make reference to the orders of inquiry by the government. So here inquiry is being made. The state government has announced a compensation of rupees 20,000 for the injured and rupees 50,000 for the families of the deceased. Deceased here means recently dead. And then you have to mention the grants, okay, to the families of the killed or the dead and the injured. The accident has once again raised a question on unmanned level crossing. So students, I told you that you have to end with a warning, a reminder, a comment or the negligence of the guilty or a recommendation. So here it is a reminder. Okay, or the accident has once again raised a question on unmanned level crossing. It is a reminder. Students, now we will solve a question on an event. Here is the question. You are Savant of Lala Lajpat Rai Senior Secondary School, Pune. Your school just celebrated its annual day. Write a report for your school magazine. So students, first of all we have to write the title in the center, and then next we have to write the byline. A report by Savant. This name is mentioned in the question. And then students, remember I told you that when we write reports for school magazines, we do not have to write the place and date separately because they will be included in the first paragraph. I'll read the first paragraph. Lala Lajpat Rai Senior Secondary Public School celebrated its annual function on 21st September 2020 in its school campus at 6 p.m. Students, I have included the name of the school and the date and time also here. The school premises was attractively decorated for the celebration. Mr. Punia, the collector, graced the occasion as the chief guest. He was received at the main gate by the principal and the senior student of our school. Then he was escorted to the stage. So students, in the first paragraph, I have mentioned what event took place, when and where it took place, who organized it, and how the preparations were made. And then I have mentioned about the chief guest also, how he was welcomed. Now we'll read the second paragraph. Mrs. Singh, the vice principal, welcomed the chief guest and the audience. The chief guest lit the lamp. A tribute to Goddess Saraswati marked the beginning of the program. How the program started. Then it was followed by a short cultural program. The audience applauded each and every item. Some of the items were so lifelike that they touched the hearts. Then the principal read out the annual report. So students, here in the second paragraph you have to mention about the details of the event or the function. And now we'll read the third paragraph. Meritorious students were given away the prizes by the chief guest. He praised the performance of the school. The function ended by a vote of thanks by one of our senior teachers, followed by the national anthem. It was a grand evening. So students, then in the third paragraph, we have written about vote of thanks, prize distribution ceremony, and we have ended the report on the quality of the program. It was a grand evening. Thank you.